James Wilkes joins us, marine investigator and managing director of Grey Pay, to talk more about the fact that a manslaughter investigation has been opened by authorities in Sicily. James, great to have you with us this morning. What is it that investigators are going to be looking at as they try to piece together what on earth happened to the Bayesian yacht, reportedly unsinkable, and yet sank within 15 minutes? Good morning to you.
Morning. Well, we know the yacht capsized and then sank. So the investigation is going to start with one question. What were the circumstances? What were the conditions preceding that yacht capsizing and sinking? What must have been true for it to have sunk? There are two separate lines of investigation ongoing. One is for flag state and coastal state. The Italians and the British will investigate, separately. And they will be trying to establish the facts of what happened and when and how, and what lessons can be learned from that. And those investigations won't seek to apply any culpability or blame in their final reporting. The criminal investigation, however, opened by the prosecutor's office, they will be examining if there is any criminal culpability, but they will take a lot of their evidence and guidance, I should imagine, from the Italian Coast Guard, and they will arrive at their conclusions in due course. But it is a very separate exercise whether there is any criminal charges that should be brought in the circumstances, and that's what the process we're in now.
How unusual is it, James, for a yacht of this size, I think it's 56 metres in length, to sink because of bad weather half a mile off the coast of a Mediterranean island, and to do so in 16 minutes, we read?
Well, it's always unusual for a yacht of this size to sink, which is why, along with the profile of the guests on board, it's grabbing so much media attention and is at the top of the news for the last 4 days. But it's not unusual for vessels to sink. It's not unusual for vessels to sink because of very bad weather conditions, particularly very intense and very acute weather conditions. I don't think we should put too much emphasis at this stage on how long it took for the vessel to sink. We don't know that as a matter of fact right now. Nobody has released any of the factual evidence on that, and I wouldn't expect them to until it comes to reporting or until the criminal prosecution have finished their investigation and deliberation. So we know the vessel or the yacht sank quickly, but I wouldn't put too much emphasis on how quickly, how many minutes that was.
So when the manufacturer points to that, saying this yacht sunk in 16 minutes, it's supposed to be unsinkable, do you just see that as a sort of exercise in trying to cover their own backsides? Or when they say this is very mysterious, all sorts of things must have been done wrong for this to happen, have they got a point?
I think it was an emotional response in the first instance. A lot of people have been shocked, upset, distressed by this incident. And I just think perhaps the company were talking injudiciously to begin with. It was their immediate emotional response. I mean, as a matter of fact, the yacht is not unsinkable, and neither was the Titanic, if you remember. Whether they're protecting their reputation, I don't know. I just think it was an emotional response, and
so
I don't.
I guess another sort of way of phrasing that question is: if everything was done right by the crew and the captain and so on, is it still feasible that the yacht sinks, or is it very likely that there was some degree of human error likely involved?
They could have done everything right and the yacht still capsized.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
Really interesting. James, thank you very much indeed for coming on. James Wilkes, marine investigator, managing director of Grey Pay.